All right, here we go. We're continuing our lesson on Mammon. So in the first video, we talked about how deceiving Mammon is. You don't even know that you're operating under it. We talked about how Mammon is opposed to God, gives you opposite instructions. God's instructions are always going to be full of faith, abundance, love. Mammon's instructions are going to be full of fear, worry, lack, doubt, self-preservation, your own strength kind of stuff. All right. So one of the main tricks, we talked about the different tricks. And then in the second one, we talked about how deceptive he is and how we've been serving and taking orders from him without even realizing it. All right. And then we talked about how he competes with our fear. We talked about how we've been making a lot of money-based decisions, asking our bank account what to do more than asking God what to do. We buy cheap gas. We buy this off-brand Oreos to save a couple bucks, which are disgusting, by the way. Get the real Oreos. We picked the chicken off the menu when we really wanted the steak. We fly coach when we really wanted to fly first class, but we didn't want to waste money. We're acting like God's cheap and that he's broke or something and can't afford to fund the good life. And he's great with his Christians, his kids, living a life of paycheck to paycheck and average and mediocrity. No. If you didn't watch the second video, go watch it. We put it into all that garbage. All right. So today, what we're talking about in this video is it's almost going to sound super granular, like super specific, but I need to get this off my chest. I need you to hear this. Is we operate in Mammon. I see so many people operate from Mammon, literally serving money, serving their bank account, serving how much money they have in the bank account or how little they have in the bank account. And one of the worst things that I see them do, and I'm talking mainly Christians right now, I see families who are plugged into their church. They're growing, their family's thriving, they've got friends, the wife or the husband, the spouse has great connections and deep best friend relationships. Plugged in, they're serving, they're in the worship band, or they're, being an usher or on the greeting team, or they even preach sometimes. All right, plugged in. This is the community. They're in the community. They have more life than they've ever had. And then their job offers them an opportunity in another state that pays a little bit more. Maybe they're making 50 grand here, offers them 80 grand there. Maybe it offers them 100 grand there. And they will so quickly give up this amazing environment that God plugged them into. They'll rip their families out of this community where they're thriving, they're prospering at school. Like I said, their friendships, maybe even the neighborhood they live in, the church community, and they'll rip them out so they can make 100 grand somewhere else. How many times have you guys seen that? Maybe you've done it. And I can always tell, I'm not saying you can't ever move, but I can always tell if this was a God thing or not. Super easy. And because I'm curious, I ask all of them. And I say, oh, what church are you going to go to once you move there? And they always say the same thing. I'm sure we'll find something great. Look, I'm the only one talking like this to you. So if you're getting offended right now, like, suck it up, buttercup. Like, I'm the only one real enough to say these things. No one else is talking like this. No one else is letting you off the hook. Like everyone else is letting you off the hook. I'm not. If they said, well, we'll find a church, I'm sure. There's something good over there. Maybe they name 4 or 5 churches. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So you literally served money. You took your family out of a thriving position for an opportunity. And typically the opportunity isn't that great anyway. Oh, I can move up the corporate ladder. Oh, and one day I'll get to 6 figures. Yo, you can make 6 figures wherever you live. Like a lot of us make 6 figures a month working from home. It's not that crazy. Yet we're so lured by this thing. Remember the definition of mammon? Right? In Matthew 6:24, it says you cannot serve God and mammon, which is deceitful riches. It's deceiving you. It's deceiving you. So I've known I want to say countless, easily 15 people over the years who've done this. It's probably more, I'm sure it's more than that, but 15 people. And it's the same thing every time. They move there. They always say, oh, we'll come back and visit. Never do. I check in on them either on Facebook or if I know them closely, I text them. And they never get plugged into another church there. Here's what's interesting. I know somebody who did this and moved across country. And I followed up with them years later. Man, how's things going? And they replied, this has been the toughest and honestly worst few years of my life since I left. And then I reply with, oh man, that's sorry to hear that. Let's, I want to help them. Let's talk about it. But I do throw it in. I say, what church are you going to? I'm not. Tried this one here for a little bit, tried that one there for a little bit. And we know this. Psalms 92:13 is a promise. And it says, those who are planted in the house of the Lord will flourish everywhere else. So I follow up with them. They're not flourishing. Are you planted? And planted isn't just I attend a church. It's like that scene I described at the beginning. And I'm there every time the doors are open. Like I tithe here, I give here, I serve here. I'm a part of this team, this community. I'm not just a consumer, I'm a producer here. That's how you flourish. That's how you prosper. That's the promise. If you're not flourishing and not prospering, check yourself. Are you planted in the house of the Lord like I just described? So here becomes Mammon, and this disguised as a good opportunity, disguised as wisdom. I know a couple of people who were, decently close friends who lost their job here and then got offered a job there, another state or two away, and took it because, hey, I'm a good man and my job is to provide for my family. And if I need to go there for provision, that's what I'm going to do. Cool. See you later. I love you, but I know what's going to happen. You're going to go there. You're not going to get plugged into a church because you're comparing it to the church you're supposed to be in, and it doesn't seem as good. And you're like, man, this is not as good as my church back home. And so you don't go. Maybe you go for a little bit, and then it dies out. Because here's what's happening, guys, is, like I said, it's not that you can't move forever, but you move from a different direction, different instructions. So I'll give you another example. There's a younger couple at my church, and I love this story. They knew they were plugged in at a church back home, and they had been here for an internship program, right? And moved back. Well, the Lord showed them. They knew they were supposed to move back to Tulsa. They were supposed to move here and get plugged in at this church. They were led by the Spirit to get plugged in at this church. Young couple, has some kids. They financially, right? It didn't make sense. It wasn't really like wisdom. They didn't have jobs lined up here. But they knew they were supposed to be here and they're supposed to be planted at this church. They moved here. They were both offered jobs on staff at the church nobody knew. They'd moved here first and then said, hey, we're here. I mean, it was God moving on the whole thing. And so what happened was they ended up thriving and flourishing, having more kids, buying houses, starting businesses, preaching, like the definition of prospering and flourishing. But why? They moved, but they moved at God's instruction. And God was first. Church was first. All the other scenarios, people are putting money first, opportunity first, job first, career first, and literally putting God second. I'm sure we'll find a great church. I'm sure we'll find something, but they don't. This family I'm talking about, that's like my hero. I mean, that's got my heart. They put God first. The rest comes. It's Matthew 6:33. It's Proverbs 3:9. It's like the whole concept of the Bible. Put him first. The money comes. The prosperity comes. The abundance comes. The increase comes. Problem is, we keep chasing the money, putting him second, and then wondering why we're not fulfilled, or wondering why the money's not coming, or wondering why, even if you do get those 6 figures, it doesn't really feel like much. If you move to a city and they're offering you a 6-figure job and you're used to making 50 or 60, do you know what happens? You move to that city, you start the job, and then after taxes and cost of living, because the cost of living will be higher than where you live, it doesn't feel like you made that much more money. You're literally going to look at your paycheck. It's going to be disappointingly small. And you'll say, oops, this is why I moved. And you'll justify it and be like, oh, no, it's good. God gave me opportunity. I'm favored. I'm telling you, no one's talking like this. You need to listen to me. This is Mammon working. The devil loves that he got these families unplugged, unplanted, uprooted from their church where their families were thriving. He loves that he got them out of that. The husband goes to work at the new place. The kids don't know anybody. The wife doesn't have her friends. She's always calling home. Maybe she's upset. She gets lonely. The kids are bummed because they miss their friends. They got new teachers. They got to get reacclimated. You're at your job all day and your house isn't fully furnished yet and you're trying to figure it out, or you're in a part. I don't know what's happening, but it's like, y'all stop. If you want financial increase, ask God for the instruction. You can do it from your office. You can do it right here. You don't have to chase money. Don't make decisions based this way. You're crushing your family. Stop. Everything you ever need is right there. All you need to do is make sure you're at the church God has for you, that you're planted where he has you planted. You're plugged in where he has you plugged in, that you're putting him first. Remember Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6? Seek God's will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Don't lean on your own understanding. Seek God's will. He'll show you what to do. Don't lean on your own insight, your own reasoning, your own logic. Don't lean on that stuff. All right, Lord, what do you want me to do here? There's an opportunity in Texas. Do I take it? You listen. Is there a church down there I'm supposed to be at? Is there a ministry opportunity? I'm putting you first, God. I'm not going to move for money. I'm too mature for that. That's low level, guys. Like, we got to spiritually develop past that. If that's how you're thinking, you're too low level. All right. We move as God tells us to move. He gives us those instructions. And if you obey that, the money's coming. Opportunity's coming. Job stuff's coming. Business stuff's coming. That's why you move. Passionate about it. I've seen it happen too many times. I've seen families ripped apart. I'll check in with them. I know some who have been gone for 10 years. I'll see them on Facebook, catch up a little bit every now and then. And it's like, your life's kind of okay. Like, you moved there because you thought this like crazy opportunity was going to come and you're going to be all wealthy and all this cool stuff's going to happen and all these things. And it didn't. She doesn't. I usually watch them drift. I usually watch them backslide. Well, Psalms 92:13 says, those who are planted in the house of the Lord flourish. I can look at your life. I can talk to you. I can find out, are you flourishing? No. Oh, well, you're also not planted in the house of the Lord. So doesn't that make sense? You guys believe what this says, right? Like, I believe it. I love you guys. I'm talking to you like this because I keep saying nobody else is talking to you like this. You got to hear this from somebody so you can be like, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to change my ways. I'm not going to listen to Mammon and serve my bank, serve my money. I'm going to listen to God, get his instructions, and then the money's going to come. He wants you wealthy. He wants you increasing. He wants you flourishing. He wants you prosperous. But he's just saying, hey, stop doing it like the world does it. I got a better way. I'm going to get you there right where you're at. I'm going to get you there with peace in your heart. You're not going to be overwhelmed. You're not going to be stressed. You're not going to be worried. You're not going to be full of fear. You're not going to be anxious. I'm going to do it in a way that makes your life better and better and better. All right. I love you guys. This is a topic that riles me up. Obviously, if you haven't hopped inside of Increase University, go to increaseuniversity.com. It's my framework to teach you how to live this life full of faith and increase, abundance, and prosperity, making every day better than the last. I'll show you how to create a life you can't wait to wake up for. So subscribe to the stuff. I got more videos in this series. This is something I'm doing. I got to expose mammon and money fears and how we keep accidentally serving money without realizing it. I'm going to get that out of you so you can make faith-based decisions and watch that increase come. All right. See you in the next one.